All right, let's talk about a headache that I'm sure many of you know all too well. You've got a campus or maybe a multi-building apartment complex. You need a fire safety system that connects everything, but you really don't want the cost and the sheer complexity of a massive enterprise solution. Well, today we're diving into a piece of hardware that was designed from the ground up to solve that exact problem. So, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll really frame that multi-building challenge. Then, we'll introduce the FX-240N as the answer. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty, why it's so simple to use, how powerful its network is, and all the cool features and options you get with it. Okay, let's start with that all-too-common industry problem. The real complexity of trying to get multiple buildings under one single cohesive fire safety system. So you've got this campus, right? Or maybe a sprawling apartment complex. You absolutely need all the fire alarm systems to talk to each other. But a giant enterprise solution, it's overkill. It's way too complex and, honestly, way too expensive for what you need. This has been a classic gap in the market for these small to medium-sized projects for a long time. And you know what? That gap is exactly where the FX-240N comes in. This thing is a solution that's been specifically engineered to be smart, to be streamlined for this exact multi-building challenge. So what is it really? Well, at its core, the FX-240N is a single-loop intelligent fire alarm panel. But here's its superpower. It's networkable. It was purpose-built to connect and monitor a whole bunch of buildings from one single, easy-to-manage spot. So how does it actually do all this? Well, it all starts with one core idea: engineered simplicity. Because let's be real, the best tech is the kind that just makes your job easier, right out of the box. The first thing you're going to notice is just how fast you can get this thing installed. The FX-240N, it ships fully assembled. The mainboard, the display, the power supply, it is all there, in the box, ready to go. This isn't some kit you have to piece together on site. It's a genuine plug-and-play solution. And the real-world benefit of that? It's all about the time you save. You're not running around sourcing extra parts or trying to configure add-on cards. It has one signal line circuit. That's the path for all your intelligent devices. And it's enabled directly on the mainboard. It's just ready. But look, simplicity is only half the equation, right? The real magic of the FX-240N is in its proven, scalable, peer-to-peer network. This is where it really shines. 24. So what's so special about that number? Well, that's how many of these panels or nodes you can actually connect together. And for small to medium-sized applications, that's a ton of scalability. Now, the key here is how they connect. This is a true peer-to-peer network. What that means is there's no central server needed. That's huge because it eliminates a single point of failure and it really brings down the overall system cost. Each panel just talks directly to the others over standard wiring, which creates this incredibly powerful and resilient architecture. And hey, this isn't some brand new, untested technology. The FX-240N is built on the FlexNet platform. That's an architecture that's been trusted in the field all over the world for years. So you're getting a system that's familiar, it's reliable, and one that technicians and end users already know how to work with. Okay, so beyond just the networking, this panel was also designed to be super versatile. Let's take a look at the features and options that really let you tailor it to your specific project's needs. Let's run through the core specs real quick. That single loop can support up to 240 intelligent devices, which is plenty of coverage for most small to mid-sized buildings. You also get 4 notification appliance circuits. These are what power your horns and strobes, and they're beefy at 1.7 amps each. And finally, it has integrated audio capability, which, trust me, opens up a lot more options. Yeah, that audio capability brings us to a really key feature: flexibility. On its own, the FX-240N is a seriously powerful fire panel, no doubt. But what if your project needs voice evacuation? Well, you can just seamlessly integrate it with the QX Mini system. This gives you a complete, combined fire and audio solution without having to add a bunch of unnecessary complexity. So if you had to boil this entire thing down to just one single sentence, this would probably be it. The FX-240N is engineered to be a complete, network-ready solution that just works right out of the box. It perfectly bridges that gap between a simple single-building panel and one of those massive, complex enterprise systems. So, I guess that leaves us with one final question. When you're thinking about your next multi-building project, whether that's a campus, an apartment complex, or something else entirely, is it ready for a solution that's just engineered to be smarter and a whole lot simpler?